welcome back. So, what if the key to a more compassionate, emotionally intelligent, and purpose driven world lies in the power of the feminine voice? In leadership, relationships, and personal growth, too many women have been taught to silence their intuition and strength. But what if reclaiming that voice is the first step to healing the world and ourselves? Welcome to Uplifting the Feminine Voice, Leadership, Love, and Personal Growth with Dr. Katie Eastman. Today, we're honored to welcome her. She is a transformational speaker, coach, and consultant in grief, leadership, and compassionate change. She's the author of the powerful book, Uplifting, Inspiring Stories of Loss, Change, and Growth, a heartfelt guide to embracing transformation even through life's toughest transitions. With decades of experience in psychology and human development, Dr. Katie helps people, and especially women, recreate their lives with meaning, courage, and resilience. She believes in the power of vulnerability, the wisdom of emotion, and the necessity of uplifting feminine voices to create real change in the world. Please welcome to the virtual stage, virtual screen, Dr. Katie Eastman. Hi, Katie. How are you?
Hello, it's so good to be here. I love your journey to joyful living. That's such a perfect backdrop.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm all about the fun. That's the shallow part of me. So I turned it into a deeper thing, like joyful living, because, well, even though I like to have fun, would have been a good brand, but I think this is a little bit deeper, right? We can talk about stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're not one or the other. They're together.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
Because I figured, what other choice do we have but have fun, even through the darkest moments?
Right. It keeps us going. It absolutely
Yes.
keeps us going. It
Yeah.
might be moments, it might be little spaces of fun, but it does keep us going for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I love this topic, feminine leadership. So, first of all, what does uplifting the feminine voice mean to you in the context of leadership today?
Well, I developed this concept, which I call leadership intelligence, which adapts leadership to include both the components of a male voice and a feminine voice. Both. We need both. We need effective, we need efficient, and we need community. We need compassion. We need intuition. We need all of the above. And we know that effective leadership only happens when we have all of the above, not just one or the other.
Absolutely. The masculine and the feminine working together. I think that's ideal.
Yes, it is ideal. And it means that men can be more feminine and women can be more masculine in their approaches because it has nothing to do with gender. It
Right.
has to do with feminine leadership qualities and male leadership qualities being different. Doesn't mean being more like a woman or more like a man.
And what is a woman and a man in, societal terms, and what is feminine and masculine really in terms of energy? And I think it's more, we both have masculine and feminine energy, both
Yeah,
genders or all genders, really.
right.
They have
Right.
both. So yeah, so I love that. So what do you think feminine leadership has been undervalued in corporate and healthcare settings?
Well, it started way back with the way that we defined research. We used the term soft
Yeah.
research to identify, quote, feminine traits. And reality is that now the Harvard Business Review tells you that emotional intelligence is every bit as important as academic intelligence in leadership and in business. And we've caught up with that. It is no longer considered soft research because it's not as important. That's a misunderstanding. It's a phrase that's been misunderstood for years. And so corporations have adapted this concept that the feminine approach to business is a waste of energy. reality is it is not a waste of energy. It's actually more efficient, more effective. And all the data points to you have more efficient teams who work better together because they're more compassionate, they're more community oriented, they're more team oriented, they're much more effective. So we have to understand that for years we dispelled this feminine idea of leadership in business as being soft. It is not soft. It is anything but soft.
100%. Look at the president of Mexico.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
She is both masculine and feminine, like the perfect blend of the traits. And she's
Yes.
not soft, even though she is very compassionate and she's very much for the people. She goes out on the streets. I've seen her hugging people.
Right. Right. My leadership intelligence has three major components. One is change, one is compassion, and one is community. Because if you don't have all three, you don't have an effective culture. You haven't created a compassionate change culture.
Absolutely. And leaders must care about the people.
Yes, they
That
set the example. They set the
absolutely.
example. Self-realization, self-reflection, self-understanding. Those are all components of leadership that need to be in place. If a leader doesn't understand themselves, how can they possibly be the example to set up for someone else? How can they support someone else? If they're not allowed to be vulnerable, how can they accept the vulnerability of any of their staff?
Absolutely. Every journey starts with us, right? So we have
Right.
to, if we want to bring joy into the world, we have to have the joy, right? If we want to
Right.
be a leader, we have to be a leader of ourselves, our own selves.
Right.
Yeah.
Know thyself. Know thyself. Yes.
I had a professor that said, to know myself is to know humanity.
Mm. Right. Exactly. And thankfully we're learning that. And places like the Harvard Business Review and other forms of research are catching up and saying, yes, absolutely. You cannot have an effective business without this.
Agreed. Agreed. So, what's one shift you'd like to see in how we define strength in female leaders?
Well, one of the things that annoys the blank out of me is when I hear a woman say, I have to be more like a man.
No.
No, you need to bring your femininity, your feminine qualities, your feminine leadership to being also the male part of your leadership style. You have to bring the two together. Don't be one or the other, bring them together. Be all of the above.
100%. And do you have any examples of a time when a woman's voice changed the outcome of a situation at work or in life?
One of my mentors, which I am so glad and blessed to have had, was Doris Buffett, Warren Buffett's sister.
Oh,
Well, everyone knows who Warren Buffett is. Well, he had a badass sister, and she was one of the most generous human beings. But one of the things that she did for me with running my nonprofit is she intervened and she said to me one day, Katie, you don't have the right team. You don't have the right leadership.
mm,
You don't have the mission focused group that you need to accomplish your goals. And she said, I will never forget this day. She said, I'm going to give you the money that you require for your project, but I'm telling you, it's probably not going to succeed because you don't have the right people. And she was absolutely right. And she
mhm,
learned that her brother is all about that. He does not take on a project unless the people he's working with work and fit with his philosophy. He is
mhm.
very much a proponent of feminine leadership. There's a great quote by him where he calls men to get on board. He says, fellow males, get on board. The closer that America comes to fully employing the talents of all its citizens, the greater its output of goods and services will be. So Warren Buffett himself was like is not was is like his sister in that he is all about change, community, and compassion.
Absolutely. And the people have to align with you too. Your
Right.
vibe attracts your tribe, right?
Right. And he says no more than he says yes because he
Yeah,
waits for that right combination.
100%. So let's bring all of this into a more personal growth and, about ourselves, more of a personal thing. So if in your recreate model, how does reclaiming your voice fit into the healing process?
One of the things that my Recreate model talks about is this reflection opportunity. That whenever we have a stirring in our lives, some people call it a liminal space where it's before you make a change. Something stirs inside of you and says, something's not right. I need something to change.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, what needs to change is we feel disempowered.
Mm,
And we need to find that powerful voice again from whatever has changed in our life or whatever we want to change in our life. And it's that period of self reflection that allows us to reclaim our power as a
mhm.
woman and say, okay, I am powerful. How
Yeah.
do I want to take that power and what do I want to do with it? Well, I will share with you today. I was on the phone with someone who was 95. She is a 95-year-old woman. And we talked about how every day she wakes up, and I encouraged her. I said, every day is your day. Take your energy and place it where you want it to go because you get to choose.
Hmm.
And all of us need to live like that. We
Yes,
all need to wake up every morning and choose where we want our power and our energy and our flow to go.
absolutely. Sometimes if I wake up with a negative thought because I had a bad dream, I'm like, no, 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 no.
Yep.
I'm not taking this. So I switch it and it does make your day better because I know if I start with a negative mindset, then I'm gonna be not as good, not as powerful and magical as I should be, right?
Right, as you can be. And when you do that, you recreate the way you live your life. And
Yes,
every time we go through change, we have that opportunity to recreate the direction we go in our lives, where
absolutely.
we want to place our energies.
And why is it that often during times of loss or transition, that's when we just rediscover our power? Why is that?
Because we're vulnerable. We're vulnerable. When we lose someone or something or our ability to be powerful, I was talking to someone else who's lost because of cancer, their ability, their mobility.
Mm,
And so with that loss of mobility comes an adaptation process
yeah.
of, okay, well, how can I still be the powerful me that I've always been when I can't do the things? Well, reminding you that reality is we are not who we are because of what we do. It's who we are because of who we are. That comes from
Yes.
the inside out. And
Yes.
that doesn't change.
We're human beings, not human doings.
Absolutely. Yes. And that whole uplifting spirit is about that, that we lift ourselves up from the inside out, not from the outside in, not from what we can do, but who we can be.
Absolutely. And it's all from the inside out. Everything, even quantum physics, it's from the inside
Yes.
out. We create
Yeah,
our reality based on what we see. And your reality might be different than mine because of your perception. So
exactly.
it's
Right.
all from the inside out. It's all about perception.
Right. And we've known that for years, but science is finally catching up.
Finally, I'm so happy that science and psychology and spirituality and all of this is just merging so beautifully. It's a wonderful time to be alive right now.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful time to be a light seeker because there is so much light being
Yes.
revealed
Yes.
because there's so much dark.
Yes. It kind of the contrast is kind of like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. Well,
exactly. It's
the,
forcing us.
the darkness is going faster, I think, and it's kind of frantic because everything is coming into light. So the darkness doesn't have a lot of time, I
Mhm.
feel, in this realm. So it's like, hurry, hurry, let's cause damage and be as bad as we can be. So, yeah,
Right.
because
Right.
people are waking up, and that's a beautiful thing. It's so what advice do you give to women who feel silenced or unsure how to begin using their voice again?
One of the things that is really important about any change is it's incremental.
Mhm.
It's like you're not going to go from being someone who was silenced and quiet and introverted and to this boisterous badass. That's not who you are. It's quietly, calmly, slowly choose things that put you forward in how you want to express your voice. So, for example, I spoke with someone who wanted to be more engaged with other people, but she tends to be quite quiet. And I said, okay, well, don't put yourself into a situation where you're trying to be outward. Just get into a group where you feel comfortable. And
Mm.
then slowly over time, talk to people who share your voice. It's one of the things with women, especially, is we have such high standards
Yes.
and that's where I get so frustrated with the, oh, we got to be more like men. No, we don't have to be more like men.
No, no
We need
thanks.
to be more like us. We
Yes.
need to be more like us. We all need to be more like each other. There's
Yes.
no yes or right or right or wrong. We all need to be both. And so I always say, find that inner part of you, express it a little bit at a time, get comfortable with that, and then express it more. But
Yes.
do it slowly. Change does not happen like that. It happens transformationally over time.
It's like step by step, win by win.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. I believe in that. I know it. I know that's the best way to do it, right?
Yes,
Any
absolutely. When we try to do anything too quickly, too like this, it doesn't work. And that's part of the male voice, which is
Yes.
get it done.
Get it done.
Okay.
Yeah. Check.
Whereas the feminine voice is let's evaluate it, let's
Hmm.
be intuitive about it, let's
Yes.
give our time, let's make sure we do it right.
Yes.
Very different.
Much more careful, I think.
Right. So the balance of the two is the ideal.
Absolutely. I agree. So, how can women balance vulnerability and confidence during a personal reinvention?
Okay. So when we reinvent ourselves, there's usually a period of insecurity, of feeling like either our self-image or our self-confidence is somewhat questioned. And that's okay. Lean into that. Lean into that and allow it to teach you who you want to become. For example, if you lose your job, which many people are doing right now, take the time to experience everything you're feeling about the loss, the anger, the sadness, the frustration, all of it. And allow that to teach you what's most important for you. What and who do you want to be in this world? When you wake up tomorrow morning, how do you want to live your life? Who do you want to be? And then take baby steps, very small steps towards that. That is allowing your voice to emerge slowly and to inform you during a transition. Because that voice, I call it your wise woman inside or your wise man, it gives you the information you need to decide who it is you want to be. And I have these transformational cards called my Recreate cards that people can get on my website that allow them to go through that process of asking
Right.
questions that help you figure out who do you want to be? How do you want to be in this world? And when we transition through change, that's when we're the most vulnerable and the most malleable to
Hmm.
changing who we want to be and transform.
I love that. So let's move on to like relationships because that's something that's I have a whole podcast, Relationship Coaching Live, which you were on it. So it's a whole, there's so many topics. I never ran out of topics, by the way, for
Oh,
the
yeah.
podcast,
It's a
ever.
great one.
Yeah.
Right.
So, how can women honor their voice in relationships without fear of rejection or conflict?
One of my favorite sayings is, what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yes. One
Who
of my favorites.
cares? If they
Yeah.
reject you, they don't know you. So know yourself.
Yes.
Know yourself. Honor yourself. Value yourself. Write down all the things you feel good about yourself. Are you compassionate? Are you caring? Do you value other people? Are you a good listener?
Yeah.
None of those things are doers, by the way. They're all from the inside out.
Yes.
So ask yourself to value who you are. Then bring that person. And I have this saying, or this phrase I say, I want women to peacock into every situation. Okay. You walk in there like I call myself a compassionate badass. You walk in there with your best badass
Yes.
and you bring yourself to the world and you say, I've got something you need. And I'm going to bring who I am fully and completely. And if you don't need me, then great. You don't need me. You need somebody else. Fine, no problem.
Yep.
But don't put yourself down. And don't put yourself down by saying, but they don't like me. It's like, so what?
Who cares?
Find the people who do. You
Your
fit.
vibe attracts your tribe. Yes.
Right. You fit where you fit. Don't try to
Absolutely.
fit where you don't fit.
100%. It's like my YouTube channel. It's like if you appreciate what I'm doing and it resonates with you and it vibes with you, great. If it doesn't, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Right.
not for everybody. That's a thing that
Right.
I get suspicious when somebody is for everybody. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
wonder what's happening.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. What are some common traps that prevent women from showing up authentically in love or partnerships?
Well, they try to be who the other person wants them to be.
Ah, yes.
And they get into a relationship before they know themselves.
Uh-huh.
A-
100%.
And they get into abusive relationships because they don't value themselves.
Yes.
And there's a cycle when you're in a relationship where you're made to feel small. You feel small and then you attract more people who make you feel small and then you're in a really small world. So get out of that. Anyone, no
Yep.
one is to be made to feel small
No.
ever,
Mm-mm.
ever. If you're in
Mm-mm.
a relationship and you feel smaller than the other person, it's not a healthy relationship.
It's terrible. Yes. It's
Right.
terrible. And it's more of also a narcissistic
Right.
situation. I
Right.
dated a known character actor, and that was, yeah, it was always, I finally went like, okay, here's the spotlight for you. Cause it was like, who am I?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and the question that I always say to young women when they're in relationships is, does he make you feel like a better version of you?
Ah, yes.
Does he lift you up? Is he
Yes.
lifting you up? I say that to my daughter all the time. Is he lifting
Yes.
you up to a better version of you?
Yeah.
Then that's a healthy relationship because it's challenging you
Mm-hmm.
and yet it's not ever leaving you feeling smaller.
Exactly. Yes, that's the ideal. But where is he?
Well, I got one, he's so
You
not
were lucky.
perfect, but he does that. He lifts me up, lifts
I
me up.
love that.
Sure. I would never be in the career place where I am now. I would never have finished my book had my daughter and my husband not sat down and said, "You are finishing this book." So,
Yes,
yes,
that's amazing. See, it can happen. Okay, you
it
give me
can
hope.
happen. It can happen. But one of the things I will say about my husband is he is both masculine and feminine.
Ah, that's very good.
Both sides of him are very well developed.
Yeah, that's a man who is evolved.
Yes, he's not afraid of either side of himself.
I, yeah, well, because I think they're conditioned. Men are conditioned. This is masculine. This is feminine. So you're gonna be masculine. And again, we both have a mix of masculine and feminine.
Yeah, That's why I love gender neutral. Now
Yes,
we're all mixed.
absolutely. And that's why people are non-binary, because they don't relate to either one and they
Right.
feel they are
Right.
who they are. And
Right.
there's
Yep.
it, I think gender is a social construct, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes, I think it is too.
It's
Yeah.
a different thing from biological,
Yeah.
you
And
know.
I think it's changing, thank God.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So what role does self-compassion play in attracting emotionally healthy relationships?
If you don't love yourself, you're not going to attract somebody who's going to love you.
Yeah.
You're going to attract somebody who's going to make you feel the way you feel about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look in the mirror and you see something less than, you're going to attract someone who's going to affirm that. So don't get into relationships until you love yourself, until you bring that peacock
Yeah.
to the situation. When you can peacock, you're ready for a relationship.
100%. It's not being cocky or being, selfish or self-centered. It's about knowing your value, which is
Yes,
completely
because
different
all
thing.
of us, when I work with suicidal teens, one of the
Mm.
things I say to them is, somebody needs you. And if you take yourself out of this world, somebody down the road is going to need you and you're not going to be there.
Yeah.
All of us are needed by someone every single day.
100.
And we all need to figure out our skills, our gifts, and our talents and what we bring to the world to make it better. And then we peacock into the situation because we know we're doing what we're meant to do, which is to make a difference every day.
Absolutely. That's why we're here, to help each other, really.
Right. That's the beginning of my book is a quote from an 8-year-old child just before he died,
I
where
know.
he says, the purpose of life is to make a difference. And when his mom says, well, how do you know that? And I don't, he said, well, you did, but you grew up. So all of
Yeah,
us knew and know that we're here to help each other. Now, that is a feminine leadership trait.
absolutely. I think we remember who we are if we wake up from the conditioning that we've suffered over our lives. I think that that's when we're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm magical. I'm powerful.
Right.
This is who I am. Um,
Yep.
so, what's one message you'd give to a woman trying to rebuild her sense of self after a betrayal or a heartbreak?
Okay. As someone who has been betrayed more than once, I will say that the most important thing for you to do is to learn how did you miss the signals? What did you miss? What were the red flags that you ignored? Learn them and make sure and promise yourself you will not ignore them again in the future. And then move forward and let go. And trust that you now have the knowledge that you're going to discern in the future when the red flags show up.
Yes, which they show up quite often.
Yes, they do. And it's very my current husband will tell you it's very, very funny. For a long time, I just kept making them up. Oh, you must be this, you must be this, you must be this, or oh no, you've got to be this. You can't
Oh,
be this good.
that's
And I
so
just kept,
funny.
oh, and I kept making him up left and right. And he just stood steady and just said,
Yeah.
nope, nope, nope.
Wow, that's a real man.
Yeah, very much so. Very much
I
so.
love
Yeah.
that. And my
Yeah.
last question to you is, how do you see feminine leadership contributing to global healing?
Feminine leadership lifts people up to their greatest potential. When you're on a team run with feminine leadership by a male or a female or
Hmm.
both,
Yeah.
what happens on that team is cohesion, connection, compassion. Everyone holds everyone up to the highest of standards and helps them like this. And that brings great change. That is mission oriented leadership. That's what my leadership intelligence is all about. It's learning how to do that by understanding yourself so that you can help each other. And that's what creates incredible teams. And that makes lasting change, which is what the world needs. The world needs us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Katie, for showing us how embracing our feminine voice isn't just an act of courage, it's a secret return to who we truly are, really.
It
And
is.
yes, and to everyone watching, remember to live an uplifting life is to learn and grow from loss and change. And let's honor our stories, own our power, and keep lifting each other higher. And if you want to get Dr. Katie's book, Uplifting, they can get it on your website.
They can get it on my website or also on Amazon or any place where books are sold online. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you here on your journey to joyful living.
Thank you, Grace. It's always a pleasure. And hello to all of you. Thank you and have a great uplifting day.
Are you ready to unlock your body's incredible power to heal itself? Discover the transformative journey in Healing from Within. In this powerful guide, I share my personal healing stories and the science behind the mind-body connection. With simple techniques like focusing on emotions, Healing from Within will guide you to tap into your own healing potential. This is your time to transform inside and out. Whether you're healing physically, emotionally, or mentally, Healing from Within will give you the tools you need to sustain a healing practice and embrace your journey. Healing from Within, available now at www.thestateofgraceshop.com. Visit www.thestateofgraceshop and start your healing journey today.